All right, here we go. Grapecast Volume 3. We are reviewing beer today. We're reviewing Pilsners. We just finished filming our Grapecast Volume 2, which was wines, which is something a little bit different than we like. So we're excited to start with the beers now. Yes, definitely. So I've got Jim here. Jim, live on location. What's up?
What's
Yep,
up?
good. All right, and then Tony.
Word.
Tony is here somewhere. And Sam might be here as well.
Yep.
All right, Scooby's always in attendance. Okay, so Jim, real quick, we're gonna go through some stuff. We have 3 beers that we're gonna try. Actually, 4. I just remembered the other one. Oops. This is the Konig Pilsner that is out of Germany that we currently have on our menu. So over the next few weeks, we're gonna taste through our menu to introduce different things and see what our clients like as far as either replacing something or making sure that their favorite stays on the menu. So we're starting with the Pilsners right now. That's at the top of our menu, something light to kind of coincide with the 100 and something degree weather that we have. Jim, are y'all having the same sort of heat wave that we're having?
Yes. Yes, it's unbearable.
Unbearable, indeed. Okay. It went to you, but it didn't show you. That was weird. Okay, there you are. There you are. Okay, so let's start with the Konig. I know, Jim, you have something else, but we're going to talk about our Konig for a second.
I've got the Konig too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Just a can.
Okay, just the can?
Cool.
All right. So this beer, we'll run down the stats real quick. I should probably look at my notes. That would make more sense. So as far as the stats on this beer, it is from Germany. It is a German-style Pilsner. The bottles are 11.2 ounces. I can't remember what the alcohol volume is on this one.
4.9.
4.9. So that's considered a low alcohol content.
That's right.
Yeah. So they talk through that with the Cicerone syllabus. I know some of us have read some of the beer server syllabus, but they talk about being able to identify beer based on the mouthfeel, the alcohol content, being able to judge what kind of content is in the alcohol. So just think about that when we go through these beers, being able to identify them based on that stuff. And as far as bitter and color, because we're all going to be great Cicerones one day, right, Jim?
Yes.
True that.
True that. Appropriate response. All right, so let's go through the Konig. Jim, do you want to walk us through as far as your assessment of this? I mean, first we look at the color of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it actually looks a little champagne-y. Mine's fairly effervescent.
What about that
Not
head
very
retention,
much.
Jim?
Not very much head retention at all, which is typical for an IPA or lots of things like that. But yeah, this is pretty clean. It's very clear. You can see all the way through it. It's got kind of a herb flavor to it. Can't quite pick them out, but it's nothing really like gonna blow your socks off as far as hops and stuff like that. Like I said, it's kind of
a little bit
sparkly.
bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Bitter, but I believe that there are lemongrass tones in there, like some sort of lemongrassy, tart, sour tones.
Yeah, it's a little tart. I think the really mild hops have a lot to do with that. Yeah, kind of basic. It's actually pretty difficult to brew a good Pilsner because there's not many ingredients in it, and there's not really a way that you can throw lots of bitter hops at it to mask the taste. So it's actually fairly difficult to brew a really good one of these.
Definitely. Tony, so as far as Pilsners, is this something that you would normally drink, or is this like a light kind of drink that you would have occasionally, or if it's 100 degrees outside?
Occasionally, yeah, but the Konig I don't really care for. It's a little bitter. It's sort of blah to me. I I think, like Jim said earlier, it does kind of look like champagne. There's a lot of bubbles. Head retention is non-existent. And it's kind of, to me, it's not that attractive in the glass either. Probably because of the, lack of head.
Wow, this is going downhill fast. All right. So yeah, so there's that. So we do have the Koenig on our menu, and one of the reasons that we do is it's a little bit different than the other extremes and styles of the craft beer that we carry. I mean, we have some very crazy IPAs that are out there, and then we also have some porters and stouts that have some coffee and vanilla tones. So we do keep the Pilsner on there as one of our lighter options to help people that are not acclimated to the craft beer world yet, to give them sort of an out. So when people come in and they hesitate as far as what they drink, and we're, again, there's no judgment here. If you drink Michelob Ultra, if you drink Miller Lite, it doesn't matter. That's just what you're accustomed to, and that's where you're starting. So we always introduce them to this first, and then we move them on to other things like the wheat beers, and then eventually get into the coffees and porters and the stouts. So definitely a place for this on our menu, and we'll always keep this style of beer just to have as an easy drinking beer. So do you guys agree with that as far as being an alternative for people that are new to the beer world?
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of being like an adjunct beer brewed with like rice and corn or whatever else, like a Bud Light or Miller Lite, actually these are brewed with kind of real beer ingredients, so it actually gives it kind of a real beer flavor. But it is a good stepping stone for people that actually want to taste some things in their beer.
And Tony, I know that like you and Sam have some sort of competition to see who can do wine and then who does beer. So I know y'all are challenging each other to try different things. Is this something that you think Sam would like?
This one? No, I don't think so. But here.
Here, try it.
Let's find out.
I just thought that it was lighter, that maybe it would be something that she. Oh, the face.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Okay.
To me, the Koenig it's bitter.
Yeah.
It's kind of flat. It's supposed to be crisp, but it doesn't feel crisp and refreshing to me.
All right. Well, that's fair. I know that I know Kathy likes it at the gallery, and sometimes Mona will have it, but yeah. So, all right. Well, let's move on to the next one. Unless y'all have anything you want to say about the Koenig. I know it's from a really old brewery, and that brewery has been around for several hundred years, and that this is, from what I've been told, this is the only beer that brewery produces. So they must be doing well somewhere. So anything else, guys, on that?
Well, one interesting thing I just noticed is that I guess it's imported by Koenig USA in College Station, Texas. So go Axe.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. So there we go. So now we like the Koenig. Yes. All right, so let's go to the Astra Premium Beer. We have that, and let me see if I can put this over here. There we go. All right, so this is the Astra Premium Beer. It comes in these small little cans. They're 11.2 ounces. The same. Jim, are you okay? Jim?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right, so then the 11.2. So listen, guys, since we're doing this stuff, if I ever start banging on the table or making noise or anything, just say stop so it doesn't just keep going. But if Jim gets killed in the car, there's nothing we can do about that. We just walk away. We just walk away. All right, so
I'm good.
We'll be good. It's like, yeah, we'll figure it out. So then this, the Koenig is also 11.2 ounces, so a little bit less than the 12 ounce. I don't know the history behind that. I'm not going to pretend to know. But so we have the Astra here, which is just a regular style. I find it a little bit lighter than the Koenig. I think that some people like it a lot more because it is a little bit easier. Jim, what are you tasting instead of the Astra, or were you able to get the Astra?
No, unfortunately, I thought I would be able to. So I've got the Jever Pilsner.
Right.
Jever.
It's
nice.
It's right around the same stats and stuff as the Astra is, so I figured it's probably going to be pretty close.
Yeah, so the Astra, let's see, the Astra alcohol by volume, I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't.
It's
I think it's 4.9. Yeah, I think it's
4.9.
4.9
Right.
as well. So let's pour that one. So Tony is a photographer. Shameless plug right here. So he he was around this weekend, and we poured all of these beers, and actually took some awesome photos of the head retention. Hashtag head retention. So we'll post those later as well, so that you guys can see how they all compared. But definitely check out Tony and his photos. He's amazing. I like to have Tony follow me around, and Jim can attest to this. I like to have Tony follow me around so that I can look good for like the day. Like that's the kind of friend you want to follow you around and make you look good for the day. All right, so I just poured the Astra. My head retention is already down, so I don't know. So let's swirl and see what we smell. Tony, I'm gonna let you go on this one.
I mean, there's not a whole lot. I don't really smell a whole lot. Maybe some malt or something. I think it looks. I like the way it looks better, and I'm wondering if the head is being affected by what I'm pouring it into. But I mean, even so, it's still retaining a little bit more than the Koenig. It's a little dry. It's not very bitter. I guess it's a little more. It may be more inviting to some people. It's sort of, I don't know. Again, it's kind of blah, but it's more refreshing to me than the Koenig would be.
Do you have an extra glass or do you have enough glasses to go back between the other two?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm tasting more malty on the Koenig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more full flavored. So that definitely helps me understand why the people that want more of a light beer go for the Astra. They go for it all the time, much more so than the Koenig.
Well, and the Koenig is more bubbly too. I mean, it kind of feels a little different, I guess, on the palate.
Yeah, the Koenig definitely has the those champagne qualities that you're talking about. I definitely understand what you mean by the mouthfeel on that one. Jim, were you getting that too on the Koenig? I know you've moved on to your Jever, but
yeah, a little bit. But yeah, this Jever is quite a lane change. It's kind of the same color, but man, it is straight like dried grass. Is what it smells like.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It is. Yes.
Dried grass, you said. Okay.
Yeah, sort of like
All right, so walk us
like,
through that. So how would you identify what's in that when you're going through the brewing process? Like, what did they do in the brewing process to make Jim Waddell in North Carolina taste raw grass right now?
Well, it has to do with the malt. So it's a really light. It's probably not a very the malts and stuff were probably really fresh when they used them. So they probably weren't. I mean, they weren't. You can tell by the color, they weren't malted really at all. So it's just a straight kind of grassy hay type. And it's funny because the color actually is about the same as the hay that I taste. So it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is one of the descriptors that they use as far as identifying the beer when you're looking at the color is hay, pale yellow color. So definitely changing lanes on you there. That's funny.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, awesome. So I guess are y'all ready to move on, or do y'all have anything else to say about these two?
I'm ready to move on.
Let's move on. All right. So we have to give a little shout out to Jim for this right here. So when Jim was visiting with us or lived near us, he told us about 6 Point. So 6 Point is out of New York. We couldn't get 6 Point here when Jim was here until the last day, but we got it, and we got it heavy and strong, and we made sure that we've kept it around. So Six Point is out of New York. The beer that we're tasting tonight from them is called the Crisp. It is their version of the Pilsner. Let's see. They have all their stats right here on the front label, which is very helpful whenever you're trying to set up a Grapecast and you don't know what you're doing. So this is 12 fluid ounces. It's 5.4% alcohol by volume, which by volume and by weight are different things. We'll talk about that another time. It's 44 IBUs. IBUs is the bitter units. Again, technical stuff, science stuff. We'll talk about that later. And then
Science.
the science, it works. That's right. Someone has a shirt that says that.
I almost
Yeah.
wore that shirt.
Oh man, next time. Hey, whenever we have Science Day, that's definitely going to be your realm right there. So then the 5.9 on the SRMs, which has to do with the color of it, and then that it's a lager. So let's go ahead. Jim, do you have the Crisp, or are you sad? Sad Jim.
No,
Sad Jim doesn't have a 6 point.
I can't get 6 point here.
Oh
But
no. Oh, I got this for you. Wait.
Nice.
I got this for you. See
Don't make
that?
me jealous.
So when a beer rep shows up and says, all I have are these two 6 point glasses, who puts them in their backpack? That would be me. That would be me. So we really love I know, we really love the 6 point brand. We appreciate you introducing us to that. It's been amazing with their resin and their Bengali, all that stuff. So what are you having instead of us? Don't cry. Don't cry.
So
Don't do it.
I'm having this premium Walters
Premium.
Pilsner.
Don't make us
Premium.
jealous.
That's
Don't.
right. So the reason why I got this was it's actually brewed according to the Reinheitsgebot. And I apologize, my German is not great.
Your
But
echoes are amazing, though.
yeah, I know. What's up with
They
that?
went to echo when you went to German.
So the Reinheitsgebot. That's creepy.
I know. Turn your radio down. We're on the air.
I wonder if that any better?
A little bit. What happened?
I don't know. You did that
I feel like
earlier.
I'm live in your room. I can hear me.
I did that earlier. I don't know. Wow. All right. Well, sucks.
Let's check
More
in
than
the
3
phone real quick.
entertainment.
Hold on. Tony, can you hear what we hear?
I can hear what you hear.
And now,
So
see,
we're-
Andy, you're echoed now.
I know. I like it. All right. So enough of that. All right.
Is that better?
No,
No.
but let's just go with it.
All right. Well, here we go.
Here we go. So, what do you have?
So I chose the Walters Premium Pilsner because it's brewed according to the Reinheitsgebot, which is German for it's the German beer purity law, and
Okay.
it's actually the oldest consumer protection law. It's what it says is the beer can only be made from 4 ingredients, which is malt, hops, water, and yeast. So
Well, yeah.
that's right. So all it did was, made sure that people weren't putting, crap that didn't need to be in beer, which obviously nowadays it doesn't matter anymore and it's outdated. But there
Oh,
still
hold on.
are
I have a question though. What did you call that again? What were the laws called?
Reinheitsgebot.
Reinheitsgebot. We had a beer recently from Off Color Brewing. Their Scurry, and it was a booster. So I think that means like getting around the laws. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, this sounds about right because I know that, and I'm not a history major or anything, but when some of the after the wars, when Germany kind of took over some different areas, there was other areas that made sure that they did not participate in the Reinheitsgebot, which is a lot of your Trappist ales, and I believe Belgium was one of them. So that's why you see a lot of Belgian ales still have coriander, and they use, all these different spices. But the actual German territories still adhere to the Reinheitsgebot, and apparently some still do today. So we're going to try that out.
So cheers to that. Let's see what you got. And meanwhile, we'll be serving ourselves this 6 point crisp so we can taste along with you. All right, Jim, go for it. What do you have on the aroma?
All right, so this one smells actually kind of sweet.
I'm getting sweet on this crisp too. Tony, what are you getting on the crisp?
Yeah, a little sweet, like it's almost fruity or floral, but the crisp is my favorite one.
Yeah, I'm pretty biased toward the crisp myself. I do smell. Gosh, it is kind of fruity to me, especially after the other two. The other two were so flat, but this one definitely has some fruity and floral. The floral reminds me that it's going to be a little bit bitter, so there's some bitter in it. Jim, do you have any bitter in your? What are you drinking out of? What is that? Hold on, let me see that.
So it's sort of a small tulip.
Looks like a
type.
tulip. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's actually pretty interesting.
Get your nose in it. Smell it.
Get all in it. Yeah, sure can. Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm going to introduce a new term, which I like to call biscuity.
Biscuity.
Okay.
So, and that's what it smells like. Biscuity, and again, I get the grassy type stuff.
Have you been in the grass today? Like, what is going on?
I don't know. That's just it's what I get in some of these. But it's the really light malts, and that's just what they taste like. The barley and stuff like that they don't roast a whole lot.
Right. So that brings to the difference between a lager and ale, and I don't know if we want to get into all that, but I know it's the difference between top fermenting yeast and bottom fermenting yeast, and it has to do with higher temperatures in a shorter time period. Jim probably knows a lot more of this than I do, but you do, yeah. So go.
Well,
Tell me
no.
what you got. That's why the camera's still on you, buddy. Go.
So
tell me where a Pilsner fits in on that. Tell me where a Pilsner fits in on the little map of ales versus lagers.
So it can actually. So nowadays there's hybrids of everything. You can lager ale yeast. You can use ale yeast and lagers and stuff. Pilsners are on the lager side. Lagers are bottom fermented. So it means they're generally kept at smaller or lower temperatures for a longer period of time. Ales are top fermented, which just means that the yeast eats from the top down, and once they get to the bottom, they kind of stop. And that happens
because they're at the bottom?
They're at the bottom. They can't go anyplace else. They just sit there and eat and get fat and all the sugars. But ales are generally a fairly newer thing than lagers. Lagers are a old school style of doing things. They're usually a lot lighter, and just generally sort of, I guess they're more appealing to the masses, which I guess is why Budweiser and Bud Light and all those are more appealing than an ale, which can be really bitter. Just depends on what they use in it.
So a Pilsner is an ale?
Pilsner is lager.
Oh, it's a lager? Okay, so some of the stuff I was reading, it was like one of the oldest beers. So is it like the main protocol for lagers? Yeah. I'm stumping. This is Jim's stump face.
Yeah.
Show us. Hey, why don't you put that little mustache on that you had on earlier when I signed on?
I don't know how to get to it.
Yeah,
actually,
not.
I should totally put the mustache on when I go like dumb or smart.
Yeah, you should. That'd be great. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
It just asked me if you could do that, and I said yes. Lord help us. All right, so
totally what I should put on. So lagers are bottom fermented, and where's the? There we go.
There we go.
So back in the olden days.
Question.
I can't do that. No, here's what I need right here. So let's talk about head retention.
I sure hope someone's going to edit this. Okay, so anything else that we need to talk about? I really do like the crisp. I can understand why the 44 IBUs hold on, let me get this back to me. I hate being the cameraman. The 44 IBUs comes into play. I don't even know what these other ones are, but this one has a lot more bitter to it, which I guess that helps as far as like liking the beer, because if you are a craft beer drinker or you're used to tasting things with hops and that sort of thing, that maybe when you're trying a Pilsner that's so plain, if it does have hops in it, then that's going to help balance that out. I don't know. I just
and
kind of
remember,
threw that out there.
there's two types of hops. There's bittering hops and then floral hops. So a lot of the lagers don't use a whole lot of floral hops, or they're just kind of in there to add flavor. But a lot of the ales are when you get into the really floral things and then even the really bitter things. It just all depends on the hop.
Definitely. Tony, do you think we have sufficiently nerded out about these beers?
Well, yeah, so far, I think. But we've got one more, don't we?
We do, but I'm going to have to grab it real quick. So I'm going to have to pull a Jim, and y'all can talk amongst yourself. And just give me like 10 seconds. I'll be right back.
Totally gonna randomize things. Hey, happy birthday!
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
Did anyone count? Oh, crap. Hold on. Yeah, buddy. Rolling like a big shot. All right, so thanks, Tony. I almost, I did forget. I didn't forget earlier, but then I forgot, and then I remembered, and then I forgot again. But one of the things that we wanted to do, I don't know if Jim, if you got a chance to do this or not, but we wanted to look at stuff that is more mainstream. So Pilsner Urquell is been said to be the oldest Pilsner that's still brewed today. I was looking at some documentaries about it, and I think just recently, like in the last 10 or 15 years, I can't remember what it was, maybe Jim knows, but, and I say that a lot, maybe Jim knows. Hashtag, maybe Jim knows. Hashtag, I wouldn't spit it out. Hashtag, Jim probably knows. So we wanted to get this because this is something that's mainstream that you can get in the grocery stores. These Astras and this Koenig, that sort of thing. I mean, Jim was lucky to get the Koenig even, if truth be known, but like the 6 Point, you're not going to really find that around anywhere. And I think that that's just a testament to how small these breweries are. I mean, they're just real people that have gone from a home brew type setup or whatnot, and that they've put the money and the time and the effort. And you'll look at all of these documentaries that are out there. I'm going to stop waving my hands. Documentaries that are out there that show these home brewers that have started breweries and how they like live paycheck to paycheck, and they can't. I mean, they don't even know if they can make payroll, but they're doing it because they're dedicated to the craft and they're dedicated to making beer taste good. So it's just interesting that we've picked it up on the other end as far as trying to study what it is and see what their intentions were whenever they were brewing the beer, that sort of thing. So it's interesting to find different ones, but again, that the non-mainstream stuff, this is not going to be found in the grocery store because they can't make enough of it, quite honestly. I mean, it seems like they just can't make enough of the product. Whenever they hit on something, they can't, they don't have the capability yet, so they grow into something bigger. But I know, Jim, you probably have something to say about that. Ready to go?
Well, yeah, and a lot of it has to do, in North Carolina, we're spoiled because, we have, at last count, there were 60-something breweries in the state, and actually a lot of the breweries, kind of like 6 Point, I don't know if 6 Point's one of them, but a lot of them don't want to come into North Carolina because the market's already flooded. So, if they don't have a really fantastic product, they're not going to stand out over everything else. So that's got a lot to do with it too, kind of where you're at. But the average beer drinker won't, say, come to South Carolina and buy a 6 Point like I would, So it's kind of a shame that some good products don't get out there, but it's kind of a marketing thing too for them. But yeah, there's no way that they can actually keep up with demand of some of these bigger breweries, which is unfortunately why they get bought up by InBev and all the bigger breweries because they just can't keep up. And quite frankly, InBev wants to put them out of business anyway. But that's another podcast for that.
Yeah, next episode.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. But so we wanted to be able to compare because a lot of people, one of the questions that they ask, let me switch right to me. We're gonna have to edit that out. So a lot of people ask whenever they land on something good at the gallery, and they're like, "Yes, I love this Astra. Where can I buy it?" You know, that sort of thing. I'm like, well, probably right here. I mean, no offense, but I don't think that anyone has it anywhere else unless you can find it. So one of the things that we wanted to do in the Grapecast is show things that are more mainstream that you can see at the grocery store so that you'll be able to identify what you see versus what we're talking about and what we serve at the gallery. So again, we're talking about the Pilsner Urquell, which we have read that it is the oldest and still made Pilsner out there. So let's go ahead and taste that. Jen, were you able to get that one? I know we went off on a tangent there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was not, but I've actually had it several times. And from what I remember, it's a pretty standard Pilsner, kind of on the more darker end of the spectrum than what we have been tasting already. Again, it's a biscuity, grassy, cereal type flavor, and sometimes, and I believe that one's pretty carbonated from what I remember. So a little bit of head retention there.
Just a touch. Just a touch. Yeah, we won't go there either. So, Tony, have you had Pilsner Urquell since it's more mainstream? Have you had it regularly, or?
No, this is the first time I've had it. It's all right.
How does it compare to the other two? I know the first one that we had, the Koenig, I found it a little more maltier and a little heavier, and I didn't really like it as much. And then the Astra is a little cleaner. Either two of those that it compares to, I haven't tasted it yet.
You know, I don't know. It doesn't really taste like either of the others. To me, the Astra and Koenig compared to the Urquell, those two are a little crisper. But I mean, you know, by far the crisp is just my favorite. There's no getting past how good that is. But the Pilsner, I mean, I don't know. It's all right.
Yeah, Jim, I'm tasting definitely odd. We went back into echo mode. I'm tasting a lot of more malts on this, so it's definitely, like you were saying, it's darker. So I'm liking it more, not liking it more than, I am comparing it more to the Koenig than the Astra.
Okay.
And definitely the crisp seems to be in a different category. I don't know if y'all agree with that. I mean, it doesn't even seem to be I dare say it's not a Pilsner, but it doesn't even seem to be something that should be in the same category that we should be comparing the two. I mean, I don't know if that's the bitter units or what.
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think, but the crisp, I believe, is a lager, a true lager, and some of these are because in fact the Pilsner Urquell is I think it's Czech, so it's a
Czech. Yeah, it's a Czech.
Which is a little bit different because they make stuff different than Germans do and whatever. So it just depends on what they can brew and get their hands on. And if they pass the recipe down from generation to generation, then if they've kept the same stuff, it's going to be completely different. Because I know the Czech beers tend to use different hops because obviously you can't get all hops everywhere. So I believe that Czech use the Saz hop, which just kind of grassy hay type stuff too. So it should be.
With the grass again. Come on, man.
That's right. Lots of grass.
Lots of grass. All right. Well, I feel like we could sit here and talk about this until 3 in the morning, but I'm sure y'all have better things to do.
Only drink another beer.
Drink another beer. Anything anybody has to say about this? I think definitely as far as our uh-oh. Did we lose everybody? Hello?
Hello.
I think okay, I'm back. I think as far as everyone's opinion is concerned, we definitely like the crisp better. I mean, if we're talking in terms of what works best at the gallery. I think we'll always keep this Koenig because this crisp does have some bitter to it that some of our clients won't like, and we've even proven that with some taste tests. But I think it's good to taste stuff over and over again. Just recently, I've tasted some of the stuff on the menu, and I liked it three or 4 months ago, but I don't like it now. I think that we're always evolving with our palate, like we were talking about earlier. We all start from somewhere, and then we grow from that, or we don't. Like if you don't want to grow from that, just stick with whatever you're drinking. So I think we've all done a little growing tonight, reaching out with the wines and now with the beers. But definitely want to try to add the crisp to the menu. Again, one of the issues with that would be just making sure that we can get it all the time. I don't want to have it on the menu and not be able to get it. So, and that goes back to them not producing a lot. Well, I guess they're producing as much as they can. I mean, who wouldn't produce as much as you can, right? So.
That's right.
Just making sure that we can get it and all that, but definitely think this is the winner. But we'll probably keep both of these around, just because we have some people that are attached to them. So, but we'll see what the survey says on. I think we're going to do this one in 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens. But anything else y'all want to say about Pilsners as far as they're concerned? Any food pairings that you want to discuss? Jim, go first.
Yeah, I think again, kind of, sort of with any light anything, you're not going to pair that with a steak. You're going to a very light meal, salad, fish again, and something that might actually benefit from the bubbles, because it is a little carbonated. So anything light, I'm sure would be fantastic with it.
I think it would really depend on which one you're going for, because I am tasting a lot more malty stuff from one end up to bitter on the other. So, Tony, anything you want to say about that?
No, I agree. I mean, it's just funny how different these were, and they're all the same type of beer, basically. But one of the things I was thinking about earlier is how these are like dad beers, because my dad used to drink like Old Milwaukee, and it was, that kind of thing. And that's sort of what it makes me think of, is that they're dad beers.
Right. Yeah, they do seem like dad beers, like Al Bundy or that 70s show or anything like that. Or even Frasier, which we all love Frasier, of course. Yes. So dad sits in the old recliner and has his beer. I'm sure it's one of these. That's right. Okay, so I guess we'll conclude this, although, again, we could probably talk all night and nerd out a little bit more, but I guess this is goodbye.
All right.
All right, I will let Jim say your goodbyes. Do you need to throw any happy drinking? Happy echoing throughout the house. It's not creepy unless you make it creepy. All right.
Don't make it weird.
Tony, anything else? Scooby hasn't attacked you yet, so I feel okay.
Yeah, so I'm good, but I like that. Yeah, it's not creepy unless you make it creepy. That's words to live by.
Words to live by. There's all kinds of those. That's right. Head retention. I wouldn't spit it out. All right. And then this is me saying goodbye. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Grapesandgallery.com, facebook.com/grapesandgallery. Just join us anytime you can. All right. That's it. Bye.